2012 is the 10th anniversary of a very short-lived science fiction television show that has captured the imaginations of millions of geeks around the world. Joss Whedon, the director of The Avengers, made a short-lived television series called Firefly, which was canceled by Fox about as soon as it was aired. And props of this show have been really hard to come by over the last few years. Not actual props from the show, but merchandising, licensed replicas, and things of that nature. I thought it might be fun in the weeks leading up to DragonCon to talk about some of the props that have been offered by the fans. And there have been some pretty nice items that have come out of the fan effort.
Take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand. I don't care, I'm still...
Naturally, the most iconic prop from Firefly is Captain Mal Reynolds' pistol, known among fans as the Model 47. This pistol has never been officially replicated by any licensed studio. And the reason being is because Fox licensed the rights to Firefly to Universal Studios to make the movie Serenity. But because of the strange legalities, only replicas from Serenity have been made available up until this point by a company called QMX. However, as I stated, fans have really stepped up over the last few years, and they've made a few notable exceptions. There are really only two worth talking about though, because if you want a replica of Mal Reynolds' pistol, you probably want one in metal if you're a Firefly superfan. The original prop itself was modeled off of a Taurus pistol, so if you're an expert gunsmith, you might be able to create an actual working Firefly pistol, but I doubt it. So you really only have two options, and they're going to be hard to come by. Let's start with the Sid Kit piece from Italy. This is the Sid Kit, and it was named after the company that made it out of Italy. Unfortunately, the owner of that company died a few years ago, but he was known for making Blade Runner PDK pistols, and he decided to step up and make a Firefly replica. Now this came to you in an actual kit form. You had to build it yourself. It has plastic grips, and the rest of the pistol is made out of what can best be described as pot metal or pewter. Some fans, like myself, decided we had to have it brass plated so that it would match the prop from the television show. Unfortunately, as I found out, this metal doesn't hold up well to the plating process, and parts of it would fall away after it was over, and you'd have to rebuild certain pieces, like for me it was the trigger guard. It had a working action, but the components inside were rather finicky, so a lot of us just fixed ours together. The instruction manual to build the kit recommended an epoxy or a super glue. I used industrial strength JB Weld because I never wanted this prop to come apart by accident, because I would costume with it at conventions. Now the weak point in the design is the bolts. These detail bolts right here weren't fully threaded through, so mine ended up on Peachtree Street during DragonCon's parade and I never saw them again. I had to eventually end up getting replacements that then had fully threaded rods that go down into the prop. If you can find one of these kits unbuilt on eBay, it's really worth your time, but they don't come up very often. Metal Mal pistols are extremely hard to find from Firefly. Currently you can get Serenity pistols from QMX online, but those are from the movie. You can also get a resin copy of this from a company called Wilco. The problem for costuming with resin is that the heat that builds up in the holster while you're wearing the piece tends to warp pieces of the prop itself, such as the barrel, which would then actually bend on you, and then when you pull the gun out for photographs, you've got a warped firearm. So metal's the way to go. Now, the one I really want to talk about was limited to a very small number, and it was from a legendary prop maker named Badger, who I believe now works for QMX. So let's move on to the Model 47A. The Model 47A was designed by Firefly fan and prop maker Badger, and it was limited to only a few hundred. So for the fans that signed up early, you were the lucky ones that got it. I happen to be one of the lucky ones, thank goodness. Now, it's based on the Model 47, which was Badger's first effort, which came in a wooden case with fake bullets, and one of them was actually bestowed to Nathan Fillion as a thanks from fans for playing Captain Mal Reynolds in Firefly. The 47A shares pretty much the same sculpting as the Model 47. It comes with a protective coating over the brass that some people like to weather off of it with acetone. I preferred to leave mine as it was to protect the brass coating underneath. It has a darker color scheme, much like the original Firefly pistol. Now that's what makes it different from the Serenity pistol. If you watch the movie Serenity, his pistol's very, very brassy. The Firefly pistol retained a kind of gun bluing on it, which I really happen to like. The nice features about the Model 47A especially are the actual walnut grips, which are a really nice touch, as well as a removable ammo magazine, which is something you could kind of customize on the Sid Kit, but it was extremely difficult to do. Now again, these were very limited, and Firefly fans who purchased them, like myself, were big fans of the show. So you're not going to see these pop up on eBay very often. If you do and you missed out, you better grab it, because right now, as I mentioned earlier, QMX is only making the Serenity Edition. They have not replicated the Firefly pistol. This is actually the nicest Firefly Mal Reynolds pistol you can own. So if you're out there and you find one and you find a good deal for it, when I say good deal, that could be anywhere from $600 to $900. It's worth it. It's hard to believe that it's already been 10 years since Firefly was canceled. And even with Joss Whedon's enormous success with the Avengers, I don't think we'll be seeing Firefly's return on the horizon. It seems like all the actors and producers have moved on to other things permanently, and Firefly is just going to be one of those science fiction shows that remains in our memories instead of the present. Much like the show itself, which only has a few episodes, there are only a few of these. And only the most tenacious fans, probably the ones who are still members of Bring Back Firefly sites a decade on, will actually own them. Maybe that's the way it should be. If you're a Firefly fan and you're going to be celebrating the 10th anniversary this year and you're at DragonCon and you happen to run into me, just stop me. We'll talk Firefly for a little while, because that's really what it's all about at the end of the day, remembering a really great show.
Yeah, I did a job. I got nothing but trouble since I did it, not to mention more than a few unkind words as regard to my character, so let me make this abundantly clear. I do the job, and then I get paid. Go run your little world.